Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Shoaib. Today in this tutorial video, we will learn how we can use Microsoft Excel as a SCADA application. So in this tutorial, we will use Kepware Server EX as a gateway to interface between our PLC controller and SQL database. Kepware Server will fetch value from the PLC RTR DCS controller through any protocol. In this example, we are just using for simplicity Modbus protocol, but it can fetch any of the protocol or any of the PLC or controller device. So data will come inside the Kepware server, and after that, Kepware server with specific time interval store those data inside the SQL database. And then from the Excel with the specific time interval, will fetch data from the SQL database and will show our all of the field value over inside the Excel. So it will work as same as the local SCADA. It's have the historical data also and the real-time data also. So let's see how we can configure the Kepware server, our SQL database, and Excel in this tutorial. So our tutorial will consist of three major steps. In the first step, we'll configure Modbus TCP a client driver inside the Kepware server, and we'll see we are successfully able to get data inside Kepware server or not. So after successfully configuration of the Modbus TCP client inside the Kepware server, the second step will configure Kepware server datalogger, and will integrate Kepware server and SQL database with each other, and will verify our Modbus TCP data is successfully able to store inside SQL database or not. And that is our second step. And in the third and last step, we'll configure Microsoft Excel to fetch data from the SQL database. So let's see practically. So our first step will open the Kepware server. So in Kepserver, as I explained it before, our first step, we have to configure the Modbus TCP. So in Kepserver, come in here, project, and right click over the connectivity, add a new channel, and we'll select our communication protocol or driver. In my case, I'm using Modbus TCP. You can select any of the controller, whatever in field you have the controller. So I will select Modbus TCP and click next. I will put the name of channel, Modbus client 1. Click at next and just keep it default these settings. Network adapter, if you are using the multiple adapter, you can select your relevant adapter, but in my case I have the only one network adapter, so I will just keep it default setting. Just keep default these settings. I will not change here. Also click next, and here if you are using the same by default Modbus TCP port 502, you can just put it, keep it default. And here also, if you want to use UDP IP protocol, you can select it or just keep it default Ethernet IP. Click next and click at finish. After that, we will add a device. Click here, add device, and just put the device name. For my case, I will put it Modbus D1. Click next. Just protocol keep it default the Modbus. So here we'll put the IP address of our Modbus TCP server. So in my case, the IP address of my Modbus TCP server is 192.168.0.100 and the device ID is 1. Click that next. Just keep default these settings. Also, just keep it default these settings. Click next. Then again click next. And again click next. Just keep it default these settings. Click next. Again click next. Just keep it default these all settings. I will not change any of the default settings. And finally click at finish. So we already configured the device. Next step is we'll add the tag. So in this tutorial, I'm using just like flow transmitter. Like you have the flow transmitter and you want to get flow transmitter value. So I will just put the flow transmit. So I'm just taking just two of the variable from flow transmitter. Most of the sites people is using the Modbus RT protocol or Modbus TCP protocol to communicate with the flow transmitter. So the important, just very important parameter for relevant to flow is a flow.pv. So I will just um, this is my tag name. Description you can put it anything. I will not put it now. And then click it here. Come in address. Click here the three dots. And after that, I will just select the word. So I will remove and my flow transmitter PV process value is coming at address 101. So you can put it anything, but for my case, I'm just reading the value. So I will not writing anywhere. I will just put read only. Click OK. So I will just now copy and I will paste it here and I will modify. So here I will select the total address 102. So this is my accumulative value total flow. So I will click OK. So now this two tag I just want to read the value. So now I will check I'm able to get data in these two tags or not. So click here runtime and then select it from here. So as you can see, I'm able to fetch successfully data from the Modbus server. That is my PLC controller. So I'm getting some random values from the server. So as you can see, this is my Modbus TCP server. Suppose I will put here some random values. I'll put it just as a random. Like, okay. So as you can see, whatever I'm getting value here, similar value I'm getting here in Kepware server also. So that's it. So I will close it now. Okay, now we successfully completed our first step. Now we'll go toward the second step. In second step, we'll configure the SQL server inside the Kepserver. So I will open my SQL. Okay, so our SQL server is open. I will log in inside the MySQL server. So now what is our objective here in second step? I want to store my field controller value inside this database, this WinCC database, and we'll create a new folder here inside this WinCC database. So that is our objective. So I will minimize it. And for that, you have to come here in the data logger, click at new data logger and put it here the name. Suppose I will put it Modbus DB database logger. Okay. So now we'll just keep it default the update rate 100 millisecond, and store forward we are right now not going to configure in this tutorial, and just keep it default this buffer size value also, and then we'll come here in the data source property. So we have to configure it. Right now there is no DSN is configured. So for the configuration, there's two methods. Either you can directly configure, click it here and configure ODBC, and or you can directly you can use the through Windows application you can configure. But if you are getting such errors, okay, it's saying that say there is some administrative access issue is there. So if you are getting such error, I will recommend don't configure it. Try to configure it from here. Just cancel it and come here, right? ODBC, and you have to select this 32-bit. Just click it here and then click here in the system DSN and click at here add and select the SQL server from here, and here just now put your DSN name, data source name. So I will put it Kepserver and DSN. After that, so here you have to put the your server IP address, server host name. So for my case, Kepware server and my SQL database is in the same local host. So I will just put the host name of my server. So this is the host name of my server. I will just disconnect it and connect it back, and I will just copy it from here. And that's it. Latest login. So here just put the your server host name. Then click next. Okay, here you can use any of the option. You can use window authentication, depend when you install the SQL database, which option you select. If you select both, so both anyone you can use. If you select the window authentication, then you have to go toward window. So I during installation select the both options, so I can use any of them. So just put I put as a username, and after that I will put the password and click next. And here you have to select your database. As I explained it before, I'm going to configure database WinCC. Click next and then click finish and click here in the test source. So it's mean we are successfully able to communicate with SQL server. So our connection is successfully. click OK, then again click OK, and then again click OK. Okay, so now we successfully able to configure DSN. Click it here. If you are not able to get it here, your newly created the DSN, click here in config, go here and select your DSN and click OK. So now you will be able to, now you will get it here. Okay, now again put it here the SQL login credentials and just keep it default, these all setting. Then after putting the login details, come here in the data map. So here you have to select your tags, which of the tags you want to historize it. So click here in add, and after that in front of item ID, it and these three dots you click it. After that, this pop-up tag browser window will appear, and then you have to select your Modbus TCP device. This is my Modbus TCP device. So here I have two tags. I will select my first flow tag, and then you will just click OK. And here few options is there, like if percentage and absolute deadband, if you want to put it, you can put it. Otherwise, I will just keep it default. And any other tutorial will discuss these options. Okay, so I will add one more tags. So I will select the total tag, click apply and click OK. Okay, so we link our Modbus TCP tag with the this data logger. So now here the table selection few option is there. Okay, suppose if you want to like if you are going to create a existing, we have already existing SQL table, and in that case you have to select this log to an existing table. So if you select this option, so and then you have to select your table, like which table. For example, in this tutorial in my database I have some PMU table, and after that you have to select here in come in the map of fields, and you have to interlink with you have to link, like for example timestamp, and here you have to select and then you have to link it. So like that you have to do linking. So if you have the existing table, and if you want to create a new table, you never want to do linking and these all steps, so I will recommend go for the create a new table. So in that case, it will automatically create a table. It will create a new table, and it will store all of your value inside the table. So it will not create this upper option is if you select this one, it will create a multiple tables. So in this case, it will not create a multiple table. It's just create a one table, and it will store the value. So this, and for this step, you don't need to link your tags. It will automatically create, and the linking process will automatically do. So uh, then we'll create this table, and after that, here we'll put our table name. So for example, in my case, the table name is follow database 100 DB. Okay, so that's it. Click here in trigger step. Okay, here's one default option is already there. Suppose I will. Okay, so this default option, trigger option, I will click at modify. So here, this option here in the three type of trigger option is available. What is this option? Actually, the purpose of this option, after how much time interval you want to historize your data inside your SQL database. So first option is always trigger. It will always with specific time interval restore your PLC controller value inside the SQL database. Second is absolute time. Absolute time, if I click at next, here you can see when you can start the logging and when you can stop the logging. It's depend on you which day you want to do the logging. It depend on you. For example, if you are going to historize your any solar park data, so in that case, like the sun is usually suppose 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's up to you when whatever the time, starting time and the stop time. So in this time interval and these weekdays, it will log the data. So this, if you select the time base uh, like logging, and if you want to some conditional base logging, click here. So here you have to just select your tag, and once the tag value is true, then you can start the logging, and similar manner the stop tag also you can define it. So in this tutorial we are not going to use this two option. We are going for always trigger option we are going to use. So select always trigger, click next. So here you have to specify how much time duration you want to store your value. So for just testing, but I'm putting 10 seconds, and that's it. Just untick this value and click at next and click at finish. So now my data will historize after every 10 seconds. So that's it. And yeah, so click here in data logger. It will ask, would you like to save these all changes? Click at yes. Okay. Now our data is start historizing inside the SQL database. I will open the SQL database and we will verify the table is created inside the SQL database and our value is historizing inside the SQL database or not. I will put the password, hit enter, and then database, and then this bincc, and click at table. So as you can see here, the flow DB table is already created. We'll see we are getting any value inside our SQL database or not. As just now we created the table. As you can see, we are getting some few values. And if I will little bit expand it, so you can see the time every 10 seconds it's historizing the value. Okay, so now our completed second step. First step, the communication between Kepserver and Modbus TCP device. Second step, from Kepserver, we historize our data inside the SQL database. So I minimize it. Now we'll move toward our second step. So now I have this just blank Excel file. So now in the third step, we'll configure Excel as a SCADA application. So the first step here, we will configure SQL database. So come click at here data, then new query from database and click here. Here our SQL server IP address I will put it. You can put the local host name also. As I'm not inside the local host for my Excel file. So we put our database name and CC, click at OK. Okay, here is the our flow database. Click here in the transform data. Okay, now come here in the transform and we'll apply the pivot function. But before applying the pivot function, just you have to carefully read the data type of this value function is still string or character. So we have to like it's a text actually or string. So we have to convert in the whole numbers. Okay, if you will not change it, you will face some issues. Okay, then click here in the name and we want to convert it and click here in the pivot function. From here, select the value and press OK. So now our flow transmitter data like it's in come in the column. So flow process value and flow transmitter cumulative value. This all value is coming. That's it. Then click in file, close and load. So as you can see, it's fetching 108 rows. Okay, just close it. And I will here insert some rows. So here maximum time, I will just put max and I will just put max. Okay. So flow process like I want the maximum value, whatever I receive it, E4, sorry, E4 to suppose, it's up to you, suppose like I would put some 10,000 rows. And so it's mean right now I receive some random values 931. And here I will also put the maximum function. Maximum function of the F4 to F10,000. And here I will put also the time also maximum C4 to C10,000. So, so now come here in data, and if you click at refresh, you can see this value is like updating, and here the timestamp also updating. Okay, so next step, actually right now I just click it here and it's automatically like on upon my click the value is refreshing here inside my Excel. So I want actually to automatically refresh these values. So for that we have to click here in connection, or you can click here in connection and go in here in the property, select refresh every 1 minute. Okay, that's it. Just click OK, click close. But so now you observe this value is automatically update after every 1 minute. No, we no need to click here to refresh. So that's it. Like we'll create a new sheet and we'll rename it. I'll put the name SCADA, and we just to look good, I will just change the color of entire sheet. And okay, that's it. And now, for example, here I'll write the flow data. Suppose my data is coming meter cubic per hour, and I will put it some big font, and similar manner total flow, and total flow unit is meter cube. That's it. Okay, now I will change the color. I will just put it some white color, and I also want to change this background color. It should actually look nice. Okay, so we can put more, we can reduce more colors. Okay, so here I will put just my numeric values, and I will increase the font size, and I will change the color. Okay, and here I want last four time. Last poll time. When last time it's poll the value, change the color, and I will just put it. I will just reduce. It's not much important parameter. And here also we'll change the font. Okay, so we'll link now this value with our here the Excel, the other sheet. So sheet name is sheet 2, and let me check the column name. So for our flow is this column name E2. E2. Okay. So similar manner for the total flow is F. So I will put it E2 F2, and for the time we have C2. C2 C2. So here now you can see I will open my SQL database. So you can now you can see it. So now you can see whatever data I'm getting here in my Modbus TCP server. So similar data after some time interval is updating it here. So as you can see in the background, so last for just few last minute. Okay, here actually we can use the maximum minimum 1 minute polling time. So like that, So as you see, whatever data I'm getting in the Modbus TCP Pro, same data I'm getting in SQL, and same data I get inside Excel. So like that, we can use Microsoft Excel as a SCADA application. So I will just summarize it. What three steps actually we did it. In first step, we'll configure our Modbus TCP server in Kepserver, and we check in the first server we are successfully able to get data. And in the second step, we configure SQL server and kept Kepserver EX with each other, and we saw we are successfully able to get data, whatever we are getting from the Modbus or PLC controller, same value we are successfully able to update inside SQL. And the third and last step, we configure Excel, and we get data here. Here we get data. We see how we can configure, and after that we configure here. Once we receive data, how it will automatically update those all values. So that's it today in this tutorial. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to learn more technical stuff and control system related knowledge, so please subscribe my channel.